We're back for another Cooking with the Master. We're here with Chloe from Chloe's Cakes. She's going to show us how to make some of her fabulous cakes. Chloe, what are we making today? And let's get straight into it.
We're making some vanilla sponge.
Lovely, brilliant.
So I've got some butter here. It's actually margarine, which I find better for a sponge mix.
Yep.
So we've got that softened, and then I've got some granulated sugar that I'm just going to add.
Yep.
And then you just want to whisk it until it's paler and sort of fluffier.
Okay, fabulous.
And I've got like a silicone spatula as well, which you just use to like scrape.
Okay.
Over, like to scrape the sides.
Just to keep getting it out. And what are you looking for to happen for anyone watching at home?
You want it to get paler in colour.
Okay.
You can use an electric whisk, which will probably be a bit easier.
Yeah.
But I just prefer to hand whisk.
Got so all of your cakes you make, wedding cakes, birthday cakes, everything you're hand whisking?
Yeah. Okay, so can you see that's like light?
Yes, yeah. Show it to the camera as well.
So that's what we want.
Brilliant.
And then it's time to add the eggs and vanilla.
Cool.
You need to use a good quality vanilla for everything.
Okay.
About a tablespoon.
Okay.
And then 3 eggs. So just do it into a bowl.
Perfect, Chloe. So what's next?
Okay, so you add the eggs in one at a time.
Okay.
And just whisk between each one.
Right. Is there any reason you do it all one at a time or slowly?
You just want to make sure that it's all incorporated, like there are no lumps.
Yeah,
really.
okay.
So now the eggs are in, I've got some buttermilk here.
Okay.
And I've got my dry ingredients. This is like self-raising flour and a bit of baking powder.
Okay.
And this is buttermilk, I made it myself.
Okay.
So you can do that if you don't have any in the kitchen, which I do often because I use a lot of lemon zest.
Yeah, how do you make it from scratch then?
It's just lemon juice and like whole milk.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, just keep scraping down the bowl.
Yeah.
So that no bits get missed.
Yeah.
So I'm going to whisk this as well, and then for the last little bit I'll fold it so that you don't overmix it.
Right. And what are you looking for now? Just it all coming together?
Yeah, like no clumps of flour that haven't been mixed in.
Yeah.
But you really don't want to overmix it because it just won't be a nice cake.
So Chloe, what's the next step? So you've greased the dishes?
I've done these already.
Yeah.
Greased and lined with baking parchment.
Cool, brilliant.
And we need to line the cupcake tin.
Oh, amazing.
Which you can help with.
Cool, yeah, I'd love to get involved.
I always weigh out the batter into the cake tins because you want them to be all even.
Okay.
So I'm going to do a 4-inch mini cake with this.
Right.
So I do 200 grams in each.
Yep. And this is perfect for anyone at home that wants to make a nice cake.
Yeah.
2 little mini ones are.
Yeah, it depends on the size of the height of your cake tin and also how much raising agents you have in the mix. So it will sort of depend slightly. Those are both about 200, so we'll put these in 150 degree oven.
Yeah. For how long?
About 28 minutes my oven takes, but ovens are so different, so it does depend.
Yeah.
And then I do 60 grams for cupcakes.
Okay. And do you weigh these as well? Yeah.
Yeah, always best to weigh them out.
Oh wow, I've always just done it by eye.
No, you want them all to be even.
Okay.
You need to be good at your 6 times tables for this.
I don't know past 10. I noticed there's 12 things. That's tough work, that.
So yeah, 60 grams in each.
Cool.
Perfect.
Cool, brilliant.
Okay, so they can go in.
Yep. How long are these going into the oven for?
I'll check them after 60.
Okay. What's next, Chloe? So cakes are all in the oven?
Yes, we're making Swiss meringue buttercream.
Yep.
So I've got egg whites in here.
Yep.
First thing as well, what you want to do is whatever bowl you're using for your mixer, you want to clean it with an acid.
Oh really?
Like lemon juice or vinegar.
Why is that?
Because you don't want any fat in the bowl, otherwise the meringue won't whip up.
Oh, interesting. Didn't know that. Interesting fact for you.
So I'm just going to pour in the sugar.
Sugar into the egg whites.
And then give it a mix.
Yep.
And then we're going to put it over a double boiler.
Okay.
To cook. You want the egg whites cooked, obviously.
Right, yeah.
And you also want the sugar to dissolve.
Okay.
So you want it to reach about 71 degrees. That's when eggs are cooked at 71 degrees.
Okay.
And yeah, you also want the sugar to be dissolved, so if you don't have a probe, then you can just sort of feel with your fingers. If it's smooth, then
so feeling for a smooth
it should be
texture.
alright. But I would recommend a probe because obviously.
Why do you do it through the bain-marie style instead of just whacking it straight in a frying pan, just to control the heat a little bit more?
Yeah. It's just a way of controlling the heat. I always sieve it after it's cooked.
Okay, interesting. Why do you do that?
Just to make sure there's no shells or eggs can have those proteiny bit
the snotty bits?
Just to get any of that out. You want a nice smooth buttercream. So now you want to whisk it until you get stiff peaks.
Okay. Perfect.
So this is what we've been looking for.
Yeah.
As you can see, it's like a stiff peak.
Yeah,
it doesn't
flop
over.
Yeah, okay.
So that's how you can test it.
Yeah.
So, pop that back in.
Yeah.
Normally, actually, at this point, I would change to a paddle attachment. So then you want to plop it back down, and then you've got butter here. This is unsalted butter.
Right, okay.
It has to really be unsalted for Swiss meringue buttercream.
Okay.
And you want it softened.
Okay.
You see?
Yep.
So then put it back on a low-ish speed.
Yep.
And then add it a bit by bit.
Okay. And what are you looking for people at home?
Just you'll see it when it starts to change texture.
A few moments later.
Okay. Yeah, you just want to make sure it's all mixed in.
Okay.
And then pop it back on and add the rest of the butter.
Yep.
More moments later.
That is pretty much there.
Okay.
So this will need to go in the microwave because it's a bit cold in here, but it's come together now.
Yeah.
Can you see the texture's completely changed?
Yeah.
So now add flavouring, so we're doing vanilla today.
Yeah.
So again, I just eyeball it, but probably you want about a tablespoon.
Okay. Right, so cakes have just come out of the oven. Should we straight onto a cooling rack, or do you let them cool down a bit first?
So let them cool down in the tin for 10 minutes.
Okay. And then onto a rack.
Onto a rack.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to run a knife round the edge of these.
And this is obviously where it was really important to grease them first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just take it out.
Okay. Cool.
And then I always leave the parchment on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Any reason in particular or not?
Because they're quite delicate when they're warm and hot still. And also once they're cool, I wrap them in cling film, and yeah, I don't know, it's just easier.
Okay. Right, so we're going to ice the cakes now. Here's two we made earlier. We've swapped them out. They've been cooling down for a few hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to get ice on them now.
Yeah, always wrap them in cling film, and then once they're cool, put them in the fridge, and then you can put them in the freezer. Decorating on a fresh cake is really, I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay, yeah.
I always do crumb coating ganache for cakes. It's a lot more stable than buttercream.
Right.
It sets hard at room temperature.
Okay.
So that's why, for any event where you want a cake sitting out, like a wedding.
Yeah. You have to coat it first in a ganache?
Yeah, always. I often do the whole thing in the whole of the outside in ganache.
Right, okay.
Depends again on the time of year, how hot it is, and also how far I have to travel with it.
Right, yeah. I can imagine transporting a wedding cake is the most stressful thing in the world.
Absolute hell on earth, honestly. So getting an offset spatula, just grab a little bit of it, and I crumb coat as I go because it's easier. So you want to just pop that on the outside of the bottom layer.
That's important to always keep it moving, is it?
Yeah, so that's why I've got this turntable, so it just makes it easier, so keep spinning it around. And that's also going to help, not solidify, but keep the cake still on the board.
Right, okay.
Because it just, when it's moving around, it just makes it impossible to ice.
Okay.
And then going with the buttercream. So we just made this earlier, that's the Swiss meringue buttercream. And just grab a bit. You can fill a piping bag and pipe it on.
Okay.
But I don't like to waste piping bags if I can help it. You always want to leave a gap.
Right.
Because you want to do a bit of a dam with the ganache.
Oh, okay.
So once you've done that, grab the top layer and just press it down.
Yeah.
Because you want to get rid of any air bubbles.
Right.
Because that can cause bulges. So once I've popped the top layer on,
yeah.
I then sort of go around the seam with the ganache and just marry it up.
Why is it important to not have any air bubbles?
Because you just don't want, like, it can cause like a bulge in the cake.
Right, okay.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And yeah, keep stirring the ganache because yeah, it does set.
Yeah.
But the more you stir it, it does turn softer.
Okay.
So then we're just going to go in and cover the rest. So do the top.
Yeah. So you're just looking for an even layer over everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we'll put this in the fridge as well to set in a minute.
Right.
So we'll also help solidify it for the actual decorating.
Yeah.
Which again just makes things so much easier for yourself.
Right.
So it's already like, I can feel it's already setting now, so it's already making it easier to decorate. You don't have to be like as delicate.
Yeah.
Even out the top a bit. And then that's ready to go in the fridge to set and take probably about 5 minutes with the ganache.
Lovely. So great, cakes come out the fridge?
Yes, so now the final layer. So I've got my buttercream here, which I've whitened.
Yeah.
And then literally just slap some on.
Okay.
Start at the top and just start smoothing it out.
Okay.
Yeah, just push the excess down.
Yeah.
You would just want to get the sides fully covered.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just going to put a bit more on the side and then we'll go in with the scraper.
Okay. And what are you trying to do at the moment? Just get an overall coverage on everything?
Yeah, you just want to get it covered.
Yeah.
So you need to sort of work quite quickly because, as with everything, buttercream starts to set.
Right.
So yeah, and then just going to go in with a scraper.
Yeah.
And you want to hold it sort of 45 degrees, I would say. Yeah, and then you just keep going round.
Yeah.
And you'll see it starts to smooth.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep going. And then you might just need to add on some bits, you know, in the little holes there. Yeah, and then just pop that back in the fridge.
Okay, brilliant. Cakes in the fridge to set. We're going to get going on your fabulous cupcakes.
So we're going to fill them. Yeah, so I've got a cupcake corer here.
Yeah.
So you just pop it in and pull it out.
Okay, oh, amazing.
The easiest way to fill cupcakes is with a piping bag.
Okay, yeah.
So fill up the piping bag and then, snip a bit off.
Yeah, brilliant. And so you make all your fillings from scratch when anyone orders a cake?
Yeah, we've made from scratch.
Oh, lovely.
So,
do you want me to start?
Yeah, is that all right?
Yeah.
The raspberry compote is in, so we're gonna just do some piping now. So I'll show you how to make a flower.
Brilliant, yeah, I'd love to learn how to make a flower.
So you want to start on the outside and just sort of do these petals, you see? And then, so once I've got the outside covered, I do like another one on the inside. So I'll do like 5 petals.
Right, Chloe, thanks very much for showing us how to do it.
That's all right.
I'm going to have a go now, so anyone watching at home can see a complete amateur. Right, I started wrong.
You just want to make sure it just makes it easier.
Okay, so make sure everything's at the bottom.
Yeah.
Talk me through it, Chloe.
So start, turn it around.
Turn it the other way.
So the thick part, you want the thin.
Right.
Wait.
Let's give it a go then. So like that. Like that way.
No.
No, like that way.
No.
No.
Like that. Right-handed.
Right.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we're cooking. Right, so now we're coming back for the cake, Chloe. So finishing touches on the cake. What are we going for?
Yeah. So I'm just going to do like a simple vintage one.
Yeah.
So I'm just trimming the edges with a sharp knife quickly.
Okay.
Get that in the bowl. Okay, so I'm just going to clean off the board.
Yeah.
I do that with one of these plastic, they're flexi.
Right, yeah.
So just do that quickly. And then I've made some green here.
Okay.
Like a sage green.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to do some piping around the outside.
Yeah.
So I think what I want is 5 loops.
Okay.
So I normally just will mark out where I want the loops to finish, just so they're even. So start at the top, so where I've marked that.
Yeah.
And then you just want to go down into like a semicircle.
Okay, yeah.
Type thing.
Yeah.
And then just replicate that. So I'm going to put a frill on the bottom and the top. I started at the same place for the top and the bottom. Right, if you can see, like the seams there.
Yes. Yeah,
so you just want all the seams to be in the same place.
Lovely, brilliant.
And then just to finish it off.
Cherry on top.
Yeah.
God, it looks brilliant. Looks really, really nice. Right, thanks very much, Chloe.
That's
thanks
right.
for showing us how to make your fabulous stuff. Going to try one of your amazing cupcakes now. That is absolutely delicious. The sponge is really, really moist still, really soft. The vanilla really comes through in the sponge. The raspberry compote is extremely amazing.
Thank you.
That's delicious. You can definitely tell it's all homemade.
Thank
using
you.
the seasonal fruits and stuff. Absolutely delicious. Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Chloe. It's been an
Thank
absolute
you.
pleasure. I've been delighted to see how skillful you are and how difficult it is to actually do what you do on a daily basis. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching another Cooking with the Master. We really hope you've enjoyed. If you want to order any cakes from Chloe, you can do through her website. Order corporate cakes, wedding cakes, birthday cakes, all that kind of thing. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next video for Cooking with the Master.
Sorry. Okay, and now finish with a sprinkle.
I'm polishing a turd, putting a nice sprinkle on that. Josh loves being on camera, in case he didn't mention. Right. Oh, that's worse than me.
Did you chuck the cake bits away?
Yeah, why'd you use it?
Yeah, normally it's fine. You don't do. Yeah.
What'd you use it for?
Pop them, plug it in.
Oh,